Hello, hi guys, welcome back to the Football Showdown channel. Today we are back after an inspiring week, not just for Arsenal but for many teams out there. Teams have won, teams have lost. Yet the common thing is that no team is out of their miseries. And like they say, with misery, there's always good company. And to help me with today's stream, let me call upon today's panel. Raja, Italian Mafia, aka Rahul, Parks, and Arash. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I hope I'm audible. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah,
let's just start off the stream with a simple thing. I hope you guys are liking the stream. I hope you guys are sharing. I hope you guys are subscribing. We're trying to hit the 600 subscribers mark as soon as possible. If possible, do like the stream as well as we're trying to hit the algorithm, YouTube algorithm, because I'm not able to figure out what exactly is working, what is not working as well. So, yeah, I just need help from anything and everything possible. Today's agenda, why I said every team is in misery in spite of winning. Let's just start with UCL. Madrid won against City, but they do not look to be in a good position in the league, in their La Liga team, as well as their defensively, they're not that great. City have destroyed Newcastle, yet their focus is on UCL at the same time. Did Pep get those tactics wrong? We do not know. We'll discuss that. Arsenal have pulled out one of the luckiest wins, if I'm not wrong, because it looked honestly toothless in the entire first half, and yet somehow we won in the second half. Liverpool, honestly, it was a definition of two halves. First half, they were phenomenal, as always. Liverpool with that fire attack, but the second half, having no shots, and yet somehow not winning, is just Wolves' capability of not scoring anything. And then you have Chelsea's disaster class coming in, losing to Brighton twice in 1 week. Then you had Manchester United, the pride, the the greatest team in England in 15th position. Amaram coming with big words and yet failing to live up to expectation and Ange showing who's the boss in spite of having a dead squad and finishing still under Everton. Lot to discuss, lot to talk about. Let's unpack. First thing first, are you guys okay? How are you guys mentally? Forget this thing with how are you guys mentally? How are you guys doing?
Great, man.
I'm actually good.
Good, good, good.
I mean, I just say we live to fight for another day, man. It's
Yeah.
it's just that.
That is the apt feeling, to be very honest, because that Arsenal win was something. But we'll go with the right things first. Thing first, UCL. Did you guys watch? Just tell me about the UCL games that you guys watched, so that we can like have a brief discussion regarding it. We'll start with Rahul. Rahul, what do you think?
Yeah,
As a Madridista, as a UA fan as well, how do you think? How was your UCL week?
It was really well. It went really well, except that two Italian teams lost. AC Milan lost against Feyenoord and Atlanta lost against Club Brugge. Why that is important is because
Hmm.
if they had won that game, Italy
Hmm.
would have gotten a Italy would have gotten that fifth spot in next year's UCL.
Right.
We are still fighting for that fifth spot with the
Uh,
La Liga clubs,
hmm.
and we need our Italian clubs to do well. And I
Hmm.
personally need them to do well because Juventus is still not finalized to be in that top four race, right?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
it went well for my clubs in terms of Real Madrid and Juventus. I didn't expect Real Madrid to win away at City, but we somehow came out with a win, even though it's
Hmm.
a one goal lead, and it
Hmm.
could get tricky in the home leg.
Hmm.
But it's still a positive result, and I would have taken it before the game.
Okay.
Regarding Feyenoord, we played well, but it's only a goal lead, and then we have to go away to their home stadium, which is always with PSV, sorry, which is always tough.
Hmm.
We could have gotten another goal, and that would have comforted me way more.
Hmm.
But after that Inter performance that we just had over the weekend, I it's and it's four and it being four wins in a row for the first time under Thiago Motta. I
Uh,
am a bit more optimistic regarding that away game,
uh,
and it's much more money if we get into the round of 16 and if further ahead in UCL, which helps our upcoming summer window as well.
hmm.
So,
Hmm.
in terms of UCL, It was overall a productive week.
I mean, even Kolo Muani, right? Is that how it's pronounced? He's been on absolute fire. I didn't know a striker could move like that and assist as well. That's a
That inter assist was insane, man.
yeah.
Zidane turn
Yes,
and
as if he was
then
playing FIFA or
falling down.
something.
Mm-hmm. It exactly. So it's honestly fun. What about the rest of you? What all matches have you guys watched?
In UCL, I just watched City versus Real Madrid. Uh, just
Mm-hmm.
had time for that. Yeah, overall, that's a great result. But like City seem to have caught life, man. Like yesterday, they cooked Newcastle, and I don't know, like that Nico Gonzalez guy looked pretty good. We'll have to see how the second leg goes. And also, like Real Madrid have their injuries and stuff, so kind of
Mm-hmm.
concerned. But at the Bernabeu, like I do expect Real Madrid to do well. So let's pray they
Mm-hmm.
win.
Let's. I don't know, but I guess you're praying.
Okay.
Definitely, definitely. What about you, Parth?
I could just catch up with the Real City game, and to be honest, it was a very good performance from City. Except
Mm-hmm.
for the bozo moments that they've been having all season. Almost whenever they've got a lead, they somehow seem to bottle it. But this time round, again, Pep coached a win, and the players just couldn't keep up with with the game, and it was just Real doing Real things in UCL. But
Mm-hmm.
that it actually sets up for a very good second leg. But the thing is, to beat Real, even a deflated Real at Bernabeu is an uphill task. And City will have to be near perfect to grind out a result and progress.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about you, Arush?
I mean, I just caught up with the results, and it was quite a good UCL match week, to be honest, because we had quite a lot of surprises, some comfortable victories, and
Mm-hmm.
some players shining as well, like that of
Mm-hmm.
Dembele, who's on some
Oh,
really, really fierce form because he has
true.
scored the most goals in
Mm-hmm.
2025 as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just caught up with the PSG game, to be honest, and I just caught up with the results of the other games and just some surprises in that of how Gasparini's Atlanta didn't manage to beat Club Brugge, although
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
although the penalty that was given was quite controversial. But I do
Mm-hmm.
expect them to get it in their favor in the home fixture. So yeah, that's about it in the UCL. I didn't watch much.
Right, right. I was watching glimpses of Bayern's match because I had a best friend who watches. I mean, who was a Bayern fan forever. So I wanted to make fun of him because when I got a notification saying the Celtics scored in like the first 3-4 minutes, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. But then it was like ruled out by VAR as offside, so that was there. And then Club Rouge winning was a surprise for me. Dortmund putting three past Sporting was a surprise for me as well. A final result, obviously. Juventus somewhat because from what Rahul keeps saying that the team is not like doing well and still struggling to like score and win games. It was nice to like just see from time to time, but yeah, it is what it is. Um, Coming to the Premier League, it started off with Chelsea losing to Brighton yet again, and uh, before that happened, we had a small, let's just say, a fight or something where Enzo Maresca said that the Brighton's present manager is not good. The old one, De Zerbi, was a better manager or something like that.
For you?
And then what? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Maresca said that, if I'm not wrong, because I read that quotes. If I read those quotes. That's what I'm just saying. That I don't think those are like fan-made quotes either. So that happened.
Mm,
And then what happens? Chelsea goes and loses both, once in the FA Cup and once in the Premier League versus
twice
Brighton.
in a week.
Yeah, twice in the week. Well, what do you guys think? Did you guys get a chance to watch the game? Or what are your thoughts about this?
I watched both of the games actually. Chelsea are really funny to watch, man. Like these guys, they talk too much. Like these fans talk a lot about them being spending so much money and being the best team in London and whatnot. Like they're worse than Brighton, who they copied. I mean, they literally copied their model and signed every one of the sporting directors and losing to them twice, final on the aggregate. Like that's really beautiful to see. Like I really don't like Chelsea, so for me that was a wonderful hate watch.
Oh, what of the
Yeah.
rest of you guys? What do you think
I
of the
mean,
Mitoma goal? It was brilliant, right?
yeah, Mitoma's goal was brilliant also because
Brilliant.
of Verbruggen from a goalkeeper assisting him was quite crazy because you just know how direct Brighton are, and Chelsea couldn't cope up with the football that they played. And Brighton went with a completely different formation for the game as well, where they had Minte basically playing as a right wing back and Lamptey playing on the left hand side of the pitch this time around. And I actually wanted to watch the game basically just because of Baleba because I just adore him, and he had an absolute show in front of Caicedo, and he just owned him and just showed him that you are not the real talent who's coming from the Seagulls, it's just me. So basically, that was a very good performance, I'd say, and Mente getting some crucial goals as well. So yeah, that's just it. And Welbeck as well. Welbeck's been shining in Pedro's absence, so that is quite nice to see.
Yeah, heard Cole Palmer froze. To be fair, yeah, I think in the first 25 minutes or 30 minutes, he had three shots. And it was not like he was under pressure as well. I think Parth will enjoy this part of Cole Palmer's frozen era, where he had so much space, he had so much time, yet he didn't have any shot on target. It was surprising to watch, but what do you think about it, Parth?
I mean, I've been calling it for a long time, and it was just, it was all about teams figuring the way Chelsea plays and setting up, in a way which would curb the transitions and force Chelsea to have the ball with, the thing with Chelsea is they excel in transitions because they've got players like Nicholas Jackson, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and then they choose to play a possession based style. So it was pretty simple for Brighton to stop all the attacks because Brighton just went five at the back with Yankuba Minte and Tarek Lamptey defending for their lives. It was just the centre backs were not exposed to Chelsea's wingers. I mean, Pedro Neto had to deal with Minte first, and he actually couldn't go past him. And even if he went past him, the box was so congested for the box that Brighton made while defending. It was so congested that Chelsea could not create many chances, and even when they got opportunities to score, Cole Palmer put one wide, and it was just that they created a lot from the wings, but that is exactly what Brighton wanted them to do, and Brighton just ate them up on counters. Man, it was actually incredible the way the game changing part of that game was the fullbacks. Tarek Lamptey and Yankuba Mente decimated Chelsea. I mean, they can say that some decisions went against them when I think it was when Chelsea was trailing 1-0. Enzo Fernandez didn't even push. He just put a hand on one of Brighton's defenders, and it got called a foul. But other than that, man, Chelsea just got outplayed again in the Premier League and even in the FA Cup. So yeah, no complaints. They Maresca has been found out. Yeah,
I actually told Rahul, I think, before the season that Maresca won't make it in the Premier League. But he was like, he coached Leicester and he did so well and everything. But like, I was like, nah, man, this guy doesn't look Premier League level or like Chelsea level at all. As usual, like he got caught in the last few months, and I think see, like even the players they have, like they don't suit what he wants to play or what he wants to do. Like look at Enzo Fernandez. My, what does this guy even
yeah,
do? I mean, he just runs around like a truck here and there and does nothing. I mean, all he does is pass sideways and look for players, and then like he can't run back, he can't track anyone. The Chelsea are really like Chelsea were robbed of like 105 million or whatever. Salute to Benfica, really. Like their sporting director needs a statue outside their stadium. Yeah.
And
Rahul, wanna add something?
okay. Rahul, you want to say something?
Yeah, guilty as charged. I trusted a lot in Maresca before the season started, especially because of his Leicester tenure, and I liked the way his team played a lot of possession because when Leicester went down, they didn't play like that at all. So the overhaul that he did in just a season was very impressive to me. But I agree that there is a lot of rigidity in how Maresca plays and approaches games. It's like there's no plan B or C, which could which could
Yeah.
actually uh, counter a team that is built to play against a style in which possession heavy Maresca team generally like to play, and with wingers that are very quick and have brilliant velvet touches like Mitoma and Minte, who could actually hurt you. I think he was playing like a wing back. I didn't actually see the game, just the highlights of this match. But it's also funny that Chelsea, which has copied the Brighton model, and it is actually on steroids because Chelsea just pluck every talent across the globe. Any wonder kid they hear of, they just buy him for 20, 10, 15, 30, even 40 sometimes, and they just stockpile players. But losing to Brighton 3-0 is quite ironic in that way. And coming on to Enzo Fernandez, Raja was actually the person who introduced me to Enzo Fernandez and his talent. I did watch a glimpse of him in that Benfica game where Benfica won against Juventus in the UCL, but I was still not high on him. But when I watched him at the 2022 World Cup, I was really impressed with Enzo Fernandez, and he was actually one of those players that I was looking at to replace Toni Kroos in the long run, right? Because he also had the hype as well as the class in that World Cup to play that role. But I don't know what happened after he went to Chelsea. It has been just a downward slope trajectory in his career so far. Meanwhile, another player who went to PSG, João Neves, on a on nearly half the amount that Enzo Fernandez went to Chelsea, has been killing it in PSG and is being a proper dynamic number 8 player there. So you could say PSG got the better end of a deal finally after a long time. While Chelsea, it has been a really poor recruitment under Todd Bowley. But Caicedo is, I like Caicedo. I like Baleba as well. So they got some good players coming up next season specifically. They got that Brazilian wonder kid. So I don't know, but I don't think so. They should continue with Maresca. Raja quoted that they could look into Fabregas in the future, which is a terrifying thing to imagine because Fabregas is actually building a really, really good squad in Como. And if he joins Chelsea, that could actually be a match made in heaven. And I don't want Chelsea to have that success. So hopefully, Raja's prediction of Fabregas as Chelsea does not come true. Yeah, that's all for me.
Fair enough. Fair
Uh,
enough.
also, I'd
Yeah.
like to add saying that I just checked the stats and go to see Chelsea had zero shots on target the whole game, which is surprising.
That I was
1.8
about
million.
to I was about to like point out, and yeah, uh, three things that I caught this. First thing, Baleba, he was phenomenal. I think Chelsea will again try to invest another 100 million for him and get him. I won't be surprised. Second thing, like how Bart said, Lamptey. Lamptey is one of these players during lockdown. If I don't know if people remember, during lockdown, he was phenomenal on the right wing back position. Sometimes even played up more like as a winger altogether. For Chelsea, he was phenomenal. Like I couldn't hate that guy because he was like so pacey, so agile. Like present
Injuries
day, you
killed
could
him.
yeah, injuries killed him, and then yeah, as always. I mean, as we can see, he went to Brighton. So that is another player who who I wish to have in my FPL as well because I know the kind of capabilities that he has because he's very good on the ball. He can run, he can carry the ball into the attack from a wing back position. So and he's just phenomenal to watch. And like how Rahul said, if Chelsea get Fabregas, would it be something like getting like Frank Lampard? He did okay at County Derby. Was it County Derby? Uh,
He's at Coventry, I think, right now.
no, no, no. Where was Lampard before Chelsea?
He was at
Derby County.
Derby. He was at
Derby
Derby.
County.
at Derby,
Yeah.
right? So, would it be something like that? It sounds scary because I don't watch Como, but I've seen like the stats under him. I've seen the kind of recruitment that he has brought in the summer and winter as well. Those are not like big name signings, but like those effective signings that will work because the kind of quality that player has. Something that many teams should be doing that when they don't get their first team choice players, isn't it, right, Arsenal fans? But yeah, whatever. Uh,
No,
Okay.
but the thing with Chelsea is, Chelsea is not a club that has always depended on, young players carrying them and a manager who's just learning his craft to come in and win them titles. That is not how they operate. So what it has always been is that they sign top players, get a top bloke in to manage them, and then they lift titles. So even if they get in a Cesc Fabregas, this will be second managerial stint. And with the players, there's not one person in there who I can say that, okay, he's a bona fide superstar. I mean, they have got superstars in the making in Cole Palmer and Moses Caicedo, but let's face it, man, they're just 20, 22 year olds. So, to expect them to carry a team to a title or to consistently compete for the league, it is difficult. And they need to find a sweet spot between spending recklessly and building a team that is actually sustainable, which at this point they don't have.
Uh, so like to calm you guys, I would say like I don't think Fabregas will move because he has a stake in Como as well. Like he's a part on like he has a part of ownership, and also their promoter group, like the one the company that owns them, like it's called Jarum. Like they sell tobacco in Indonesia. So like these guys are pretty rich. I mean, like they have a net worth of like 8 9 billion dollars. So like they want to build this brand. Like Rahul told me about like what their plans are. Like Como is like a picturesque city in like proper
Italy.
area in North Italy, and yeah, I mean they want to build a brand. Like I've seen a news somewhere like they're trying to sign some like top class player like for 50 60 million. I was like, how can they afford even? It,
Even they were linked to
Yeah,
the,
they
Theo
in the winter
Hernandez, right?
transfer window, they actually put in a bid for Theo Hernandez as well as
Yeah.
Rashford. They tried for Rashford as well. For Theo Hernandez, the bid was like 47 million euros and 7 million in wages net. I don't know how they can afford that, but they actually tried for him. And I think they tried for Dybala as well, which was rejected by Roma. So there is a lot of ambition in that club, as well as excitement among that group and Serie A fan, because if Comos becomes the top team, which is being backed by a lot of money, it's another team that can actually challenge the big boys and then make a stake in claim in Europe like Atlanta is doing. And that is just a much more better exposure for the club as well, because you could get attached to an Indonesian fan base in the eastern side of things, which brings in broadcast revenue. That's a plus. Hopefully, Fabregas doesn't leave, because I'm loving how he's managing Como. His play style is really really good. The talent ID that Fabregas has shown in buying Nico Paz, Asan Diao, and just finding players that suit his play style, and just taking young players and making them perform like 2 3 levels above than they what should have. Nico Paz, this guy's a complete baller. In my opinion, one of the most exciting talent in Serie A, even though we have Kenan Yildiz, who is another exciting talent, but the level that Nico Paz has shown, I actually rate him on that Ballon d'Or level, that this guy can actually win one. They Como are trying to buy him completely from Real Madrid, because Real Madrid, they have a buyback clause at around 9 or 12 million with 50%
8 million for this
sell
summer.
on right. So that's another thing.
what about this player? Like how Ainsley said, they bought Diao
Ashan
from
Diao.
Betis and or something.
He's been on
He
some
already
killer form.
has
He
like
scored against Fiorentina, Juventus, I think Milan as well. So he's
Mm-hmm.
been killing the big boys out. And he's
Okay.
very quick, two-footed,
Hmm.
and he can change direction in a snap. So you could see him cutting in from right side, from left side. That it doesn't bother him. Which is troublesome for any defender and fullback to manage. And he's got a really good physical side to him. He heads the ball really well. So he's a proper nuisance to play against for any fullback or defender because he's been tried as a striker and as a winger both. So Fabregas is tinkering with his squad and his formations a lot, but they are yielding really good results. I think he's outclassed Inzaghi, Motta, Concesa, Vanoli, Palladino, all the big managers in Serie A who are up and coming as well as solidified themselves at a bigger stake. Ki, yes, we are the upcoming managers. We are the top upcoming managers in Italian football, and he's and he has bouted well against each one of them. So I have lot of big hopes from Fabregas. I hope he stays in Como because Serie A needs a manager like him and a club like Como to build their brand even more.
Mm. So like about Diao, like who remembers when Edu went to Spain in summer? Everyone was
Yeah.
saying like, yeah, he's going to Betis and sign Asane Diao. He's the Diao that he's ripping at Como right now. I
Oh,
mean, like, find this guy, bro. Like, Edu should be in jail right now. I mean,
On scouting, I remember Raja telling me that Arsenal have procured a scout from Real Madrid that has found them Vinicius and Rodrigo. I don't know what has happened with him. Is he in house arrest or something because the winter transfer window was blank?
I mean, like, he did get that scout, and like we got linked with Morata, so it makes sense what kind of hit Arsenal were going through in the winter. I do not know what to say, but Ainsley says that he could be molded into a pure number nine. Um, so,
He's very agile as well.
hmm.
Because you see the movements he has, his link up play, he can drop deep as well. And then, like Rahul said, his two-footed prowess that he brings is like a complete game changer. Because you see the goals he scored the other day versus Fiorentina, the goal he scored on his left foot, which is his weaker foot. He scored that goal, and you just see the natural talent that he has to play in situations like that. So it is very possible for him to play that role.
So do you guys remember where we started? We started with
Chelsea.
Chelsea, and we somehow ended up with Como. Let's bring it back. What happened after Chelsea was the most, let's just say, the most Arsenal thing we've expected. My expectations were low, but holy shit, it was in the gutter. Honestly, it was in the gutter in the first half. I couldn't believe it. And then remember the statement where Mikel Arteta says, "Oh, we can bring in a secret weapon in Mikel Merino, and like he can score." The jokes that have gone through with United fans, with CTA fans, with every fan out there. Is forget that we were trolling our own self, which was honestly the best comedy, self-deprecation those. But my God, oh my God, when Merino came and he scored that header, it kind of reminded me of that goal when he scored against Germany in the Euros. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, not at that height, but like it was still nice because the I do not know if it's like Stockholm syndrome, but it felt like he was suited well. Like his movement was nice. Like you go forward and then push back to like get that header, like how Haaland scored against Arsenal, right, where he dunked on Saliba. It felt something like that. And then his movement to score even the second goal, he was nowhere in the frame, and then he started to come from the other end, just make sure that he was on the onside, and then probably am I making too much out of it, just being pure copium. I don't know what it is, but it was phenomenal to watch.
It's not, to be honest, because you see the way Merino has his aerial ability as to how he scores these goals and how he connects these headers. It's completely different to what a normal human being or normal player would do because you see the leap that he takes it with a proper judgment, first of all.
Mhm.
And then the movement of his head is completely accurate every time. You see the direction to which he changes. I mean, yeah, it is too much analysis into just a normal header being in a goal, but it is quite remarkable because he's done it in quite a few occasions. And this goal also reminds me of that where Rice scored against Luton last season. That goal was also proper clutch, and he used the same technique for that goal as well. So it's just an aspect, and just this Merino presence just shows us as to how important it is to just have someone to dominate the box. It doesn't have to be a real striker because you see the amount of crosses that we put in. Anybody in the box can dominate, and just it just keeps telling us as to how these NPC strikers in the league like Mateta, Wood, or some. I mean, they are not NPC, but you can call them NPC. So how they just end up getting these goals in the league is just because of their presence. You don't need them to showboat or anything. It's just the normalcy that they just do it on a consistent level that yields them results in the end.
I mean,
And
how Ainsley says, thank God I missed the first half cause of work. That second half, Veneri, what a ball. Finger red number one. What?
Huh?
Huh? Wait, what? What does
Huh?
it mean?
nah, but for real,
Pratham,
the
Captain Steve. I hope you subscribe.
the thing with Merino was it wasn't even a center forward performance. It is something that he's been doing for quite some time now, because most of the chances that he's at the end of, they're mostly crosses. The first chance that Timber created, it was a cross where he made that late run and he
Yeah.
just missed the ball by a whisker. Then again, even against Chelsea and even in some
Yeah.
other
He
game,
came off the bench.
he
Yeah.
he created a similar chance where he gets into position to head the balls, and with Vaneri and his crossing ability, it actually came to the fore, because you could see the number of times our midfielders, even Declan Rice, was specifically making runs for the crosses, and there were times where Vaneri crossed the ball in and it was headed away. So the game plan has to be that to some extent, because we lack a creative striker or a creative winger. So that is something that we have to resort to. But it is, credit to Arteta for actually adapting and giving Merino a go there. Because he, again, the thing is, people would be like, okay, they just beat Leicester. But trust me, beating Leicester is like beating Real Madrid to me, man. Because with the kind of squad we've got, get even a win against the worst team in the league will mean a lot to me, because the position that we are in right now is diabolical. And if we are able to grind out results even from these moments, it's incredible, really.
Before we go on to the rest of you guys, I just want to point out one thing. Look, I will link parts thread thread. Okay, I'll link parts thread in the description. Watch it. He clearly dissects how Declan Rice has been using those runs, or how Declan Rice has been used in Arsenal presently, and the kind of performance that he had in the game against Leicester. Because I agree. Because if I'm not wrong, he played at one point. He was there somewhere in the strike force. At one point, he was there at the left wing. One point, he was there in midfield, like how he's supposed to be. At one point, he was there as a centre back, and another point, he was there as a left back when my was Kelly was in the midfield. So I do not know how to say, but I think if you see parts thread, I think you'll have a better understanding. And it was something, dude. I couldn't believe it. And obviously, Beneri, I don't. I have so much praise. I just don't want to jinx it because I don't have enough wood next to me, to touch it and not jinx anything. But yeah, we'll just take up. We'll just enjoy this thing because it was phenomenal. We'll take in one two comments before we go with the rest of the opinions from the panel. Okay. We have from Dr. Vivek. Hi, Dr. Vivek. I hope you're doing well. Hello, guys. That second half, that second finish is a technique too perfect for a midfielder. More importantly, he's a natural duel winner, and that Veneri cross is reminiscent of Mares once more. True, true, true.
Half space crosses and 180, man.
Uh,
Incredible.
yeah, true, true. We have one more. Also, just a shout out to Skelly for the nudge. How can we forget? I mean, I
Could be
forgot.
season defining.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly forgot, but yeah, it was sad that I forgot. Like Arif said, it was season. I mean, because if Leicester scored, I don't think there was any chance for us to come back, nor would any hope
Yeah.
or morale be left in the team to go and get that win, which is very true. That was an emoji, but it converted into a text.
That red finger
Oh,
one.
the finger red
Oh,
thing.
Yes.
Okay, 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 okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah,
That's crazy.
we were speaking about two-footed, right? Was it this play that we just spoke about, Asan Diao, right?
Asandia.
Mhm.
Yeah. Rahul, I know you're not an Arsenal fan, but if you watch that game, Veneri with both his feet, he almost scored two bangers. Like, bro doesn't know how to just
Saka-esque
score
one.
a tap. I swear, I felt his shooting with the right foot is much more powerful than. You know what? Never mind. Let's just say he's a good player and go on with the rest of you guys. What do you
Yeah,
thought?
true. True. To be honest, the shooting from the left foot was equivalent to what that would be of Saka, but just too much more prowess in the dip and the curl and the power that he uses. And the chance that he had from his right foot that hit the post, it just showed you as to how many tricks he has in his box as to
Yeah.
just get a step over done, throw the defender out of the way, and shoot directly at goal. So yeah, that's something very good as to
And
coming as an understudy of Saka.
yeah. So the thing is, what I rate the most about a winger is his ability to create separation. So Trossard's been doing it, but not as consistently. But whenever Vaneri is on the pitch, he's got that burst of pace in him where he is dribbling and he does a step over and gets a yard of pace ahead of his defender, which allows him to put in crosses, because there have been many instances where he gets into a position where we know he will cross, but he still doesn't get picked up because of how quick the movement is. And that is something we've been lacking in our attack. And I hate to say this, but Gabriel Martinelli in that position would not be able to do that. And that is something I've been asking our wingers to do for a long time. And Vaneri has actually, it's incredible how, he's taken the onus on himself to be the guy who will grind the results out for us, because the way the team treats Vaneri, it's not like, okay, he's just a child, give him the ball, he'll try something. There is belief that if we give him the ball, he will create something for us, which is actually telling for a player, just 17 years of age. It's we are blessed, man. I can't.
And and also for a fact that he knows when to pass and he knows when to shoot, because usually you'd see him being the player just trying to shoot, and that can quite boring to watch or quite annoying to watch, to be honest. But in the situation where he saw Merino make a run where he wasn't even in the box properly, where he saw him make a run, he played an inch perfect cross and that ended up being the winner. So that's quite crazy.
What do you think, Raja and Rahul? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think like our season first half was really bad, but I think we'd have ended up like drawing the game rather than losing it. But like for the most part, like we look solid defensively and everyone was contributing. But like when it goes to the attack, it was in one area and inshallah basically. I mean, like when the ball went to Sterling, like he loses it every time or makes some brain-dead pass or like waits too long. It's really annoying watching Sterling, but like I can't cuss him out because we don't have any fit players to even play there. So I think I'll just hold out on Sterling for now. And yeah, and when it comes to Nwaneri, I mean, like this guy is basically like one word, like generational. I mean, there there isn't much more to say about him. Basically, I mean, I've been seeing on Twitter like people are saying he's better than Yamal and this and that, but like, come on, man, just keep quiet and like
Enjoy,
let the
bro.
kid grow. Yeah, just enjoy watching him play, ripping apart defenses for us when we are in difficult times. I mean, his skill set is perfect for what we have. I am still on the fence about starting Merino at center forward position from the beginning because like we might get even more predictable like by starting him. We shall see how Arteta tackles that issue. But like Ethan is perfect, man. Like he's perfect for set pieces. Like in our current state where we need these sort of goals to scrappy wins. I mean, we need his crossing and creativity is good. Like he can also shoot really well. I mean, I really appreciate like Haaland for giving us this player who looks like he's made in some lab perfectly for this kind of an Arteta system and everything. We'll see like what happens when Saka comes back. I think Odegaard's time is done next season, not now.
You don't have to
Yeah.
end this conversation with that, bro, but okay. But also another factor that I wanted to touch upon that we've credited Waneri so much for is his out of position work that he put up versus Leicester. Because you see, he's won 13 duels, bro. He's won 13 duels as a winger who's not even asked to track back, but he's doing his extra bit and doing that. And also, he won the most tackles also in the game. A winger who's 17-year-old who doesn't have much to do for as a winger because the threat from Leicester wasn't as much, but he still put in a very good shift, which is quite a good aspect to have.
The thing is, like, even though like he's 17, the guy takes responsibility. I think I read everything about all his skills, that aspect of his game. Like the
Yeah.
kid shows responsibility and comes shows for the ball and takes on players. I mean, he's going to be something else, man. In few years, I'm really really excited for to watch him. Yeah.
And also, the thing was, I'll just have one criticism of the game, and it would be Odegaard's utilization and the way we are setting up, knowing that we don't have our best players. Because what's happening now is that we are still starting games the same way with Sterling on the left, Trossard falls nine, and Vaneri on the right. So the thing with Vaneri is that he will adapt, but Trossard as a false nine for the way we treat our false nine or the center forward is not ideal. And Raheem Sterling actually doesn't provide anything. So I would rather, us go defensive where we are focusing on crosses rather than playing the same way that we would play with Saka fit, Havertz fit, and Martinelli fit. So that would be one criticism. And with Odegaard is that he literally is not a central attacking midfielder anymore for Arsenal. He's involved too much in the build up. You could see him dropping deep to an extent where he actually became one of the center backs. He was starting attacks, and it was just play the ball to Vaneri or play the ball to Timber, who will then carry it forward. But till the time they carry it forward, Odegaard is not able to progress up the pitch, which is limiting his abilities, the abilities that he's known for. He's known for shooting, he's known for his passing game, which actually becomes unnoticeable when he's got a low block to face. And he becomes, a one trick pony where he'll try the lob balls, which don't make any sense. So it's just that there are two things, Vaneri coming of age at Arsenal, given the situation, and Odegaard playing in a role that he's actually not suited to play. So that is making people say that Odegaard is done. He won't be a part of Arsenal in the long run, which I don't agree with. But yeah, I don't like Odegaard's utilization in the team.
Let's take in few comments from Pratham. He says Arteta said in the interview, "Who are we to stop if we are ready, even if you're 17?" Agreed, agreed. We have seen that with Miles Lewis Kelly. We have seen with this Ethan Veneri before. We saw with Saka, and I think before even Saka, we saw with Martinelli. Right? We saw with Martinelli when Unai Emery just brought him on against Liverpool or Burnley. I
Yep.
forgot his name, but it was phenomenal. Yeah, of course, of course. A football showdown stream doesn't happen without Mr. Ayush Lala coming to his
Aston
presence and saying,
Aston Villa is losing by 3 goals, City is losing by 4 goals, and Newcastle is losing by 5 goals. So yeah,
absolutely.
that's the league done.
Liverpool, when Liverpool are playing, right, all the stars, all the yogic power, all the gods in the world, you can believe any religion in the world, you can understand that Liverpool are going to win that game in spite of anything. No team will score, no team will defend well, no referee will penalize them with anything. We can talk about anything and everything possible. Next thing from Ainsley, I can see whenever playing a false nine, insane technical ability and great scoring prowess. Agreed. I mean, false nine.
Yeah, true to be
Hmm.
honest. You know what? I saw that Messi comp against,
Don't, 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 don't. I know.
I'm not comparing him to Messi, but I'm just trying to say that I just saw how people had the same comparisons to technical ability, playing as a false nine in the same frame as a short player with
Mhm.
the same finesse that he had. in compared to what it was for Messi versus United. I mean, not comparing the two profiles,
Uh,
but just
uh,
saying as to how this idea makes sense.
Final word. Why? See, I was talking to Salman, the other panelist from our thing. I said, bro, Veneri was not visible in the first 15 to 20 minutes, and suddenly out of nowhere, he was the only one doing everything and anything for the team. It kind of reminded me of, like when Pep said, watch Messi in the first 20, 30 minutes, you will not find him anywhere. And then something out of nowhere comes out. And then, yeah, that is why I'm not saying anything. Next, swiftly moving on. People were saying Marino reminded me of Giroud, and
Merino reminded me of R9.
some say R9, some say Fellaini, some say Giroud. Dr. Vivek says Arteta has time and again mentioned that he doesn't believe much in starting 11 and coming from bench. He says that each player has a specific role, so as a starter of matches, and some are finishers. True, true. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nice to see from the manager, but I think as fans, we know.
It's I mean, I'm not blaming Raheem Sterling. When I look back at the time that he's had in the Premier League, he started off at 17 and now he's 30, and he's actually played a lot of football. So I'm just saying that, okay, I sympathize with him for not being at his best, but come on, for a team that's competing for the title, nah, we need better, man. I mean,
True.
uh, it's shambolic.
Yep. One more thing, just the fact that with him, I didn't see a drop in quality in the absence of. True. This is very true. Uh, we all thought a 17-year-old would be too much responsibility on him, but even when he's coming off the bench, phenomenal. When he's starting these games, I thought starting would be like too soon for him, but given the circumstances, I think he's been incredible. Like, so good. Dr. Vivek, I think he will use Merino as a finisher for his ability to head the ball against a relatively fatigued defense line and breaking the play in time. True. I don't. Yeah, like Raja said, I don't think
Yeah.
Merino would start at least in the false nine position immediately. I think he'll come on in case we're not able to score, which looks like to be the case because against Leicester team where their defense will be very poor, we've scored so many goals right before Merino. So yeah. By the way, Joko used the M word. Yeah.
M word?
Messi, Messi, Messi. M-word.
I was like, did he miss the M and N or something?
No, but the reason why everyone's talking about Vaneri is the out of possession responsibilities that he's been given right now. It's not something that Arteta is focusing on a lot. I mean, he does his defensive duties, but it's not like our right winger who actually is a pressing. I won't say a pressing trigger, but he's someone who would be the first line of press. But in Vaneri's case, it isn't. You could see Vaneri starting a bit deep, and it was Martin Odegaard who was pressing from the right hand side. So the thing is, I like how Arteta is restricting Vaneri's roles when it comes to his defending, and he's trying to maximize his attacking threat that he at present possesses, and he will continue to possess. And that is actually a big sign because Arteta is not someone who would do that for any player. Yeah.
It's spoken too much about the Arsenal situation. Next up, we're playing against West Ham, so let's just hope for the best. Though they lost against Everton, Everton in great form, but yeah, we will come to them later on. Next up, City. Ah, where do we begin with this? Because as a FPL player, you honestly thought Isak would be your guy to score against City shambolic defense, but City didn't look like they had any issues. And as an Arsenal fan, you would think that Newcastle only turns up against Arsenal because what the hell is this? What the hell was this? Newcastle couldn't get the ball. Like, what changed? I do not know. But one thing for sure is that City missed Marmoush in starting lineup against Madrid. Honestly, I was surprised. I didn't understand why Marmoush started against Arsenal but not against Madrid. Like, what changed? What happened? It's just Pep. using his like big brains and not starting him like how he did against Chelsea as well, starting Gundogan when Gundogan was injured and all that. But he was good. He was really good. Again, we had an assist from Edison, the goalkeeper. That was some finish from him, and then I think if Marmoush starts against Madrid at Bernabeu, I think there will be a game to watch. Definitely, already there's a game to watch, but I think with Marmoush starting, it will be interesting to watch. What do you guys think? Raja and Rahul, we start with you guys.
Yeah, I agree. It will be a much trickier fixture if Marmoush starts, just because he's got that raw pace and our backline lacks that pace. So he could, and if a long ball from Ederson comes, that is a tactics that repeatedly, if used, could be exploited against our defense. Because if there's not Rudiger as well, and Chouameni this season has been pretty poor, I don't believe he can judge the flight of the ball really well. So that's an issue. But another player that's not getting the plaudit that should get the plaudit, it's actually Nico Gonzalez. Settled in really well at the midfield, took on the Rodri role. Is not on that Rodri level, but is actually a player that could enable that Pep tactics to flourish inside that squad and make it much more terrifying to play against, and get because he gets the rhythm of the tempo the that Pep wants to play at, and which City has lagged after that ACL injury to Rodri. So that's why I'm not that confident about that Bernabeu tie. But we have to also take into account that Newcastle defense has not been good when playing at a highlight. When they sit back, they are actually superior at defending. But when managing against players that are really rapid and they are playing at a high line and then they have to catch up to them, it's generally not been good this season. So that's something to take into account. Real Madrid, I don't know. This week's game was not that good.
Are you trying to
I
counter the fact, or are you just like actually scared? Because I feel as I think you're just like trying. Oh, it's fine, we're scared, but somehow you'll turn up and like beat the shit out of City or something. It feels like that.
No, no, I'm genuinely scared. Any match against City is scary because it's Pep Guardiola. Either he can pull a rabbit out of his hat, or he can just do a big brain move and make his own team falter. Right? We have seen that in that Chelsea tie in the UCL final. I don't know what he was thinking, but he played some players that should be playing on that field. One thing is there's no KDB factor, but Haaland has been improving steadily over the past few games. I don't know what he'll do in that Real Madrid
Is
tie, but
Haaland
his first
injured
leg
though?
performance was really good. And we don't have Rudiger against again, so we who could actually pocket him. Asensio could be a bright spot, but our second centre back option does not fill me with confidence. Fede Valverde has to put in another great performance if we have to have a chance in that game. Kamavinga has been a bit of error prone, especially in past couple months. He's not actually flourished in a way that the Real Madrid fans would have expected him to be to flourish after multiple seasons at the club. So that's actually something to for City fans to be like, yeah, we can actually make a game at Bernabeu and maybe even win. Yeah, I agree with that
yeah
comment.
yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the game like full game. I tuned in for like 15-20 minutes of the game where like Marmo scored once or twice, I think. Coming to Marmush, I saw a stat before. I don't know who posted it before, but it said like he finishes like 60 or 70% of his chances on the right side of the goalkeeper. Like
Yep.
he's very predictable finisher, and I noticed that like he even his first goal was I think towards the right side of the goalkeeper as well. Like he's quite predictable in that aspect. From what I read. Yeah. What?
The,
I
the
got
the
this.
first two goals were to Ederson's right, but on the left.
On the left. Yeah,
The
basically
third
that's
goal
what
was
happened.
finished
Yeah,
more towards the right hand side.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
goalkeeper's right.
Oh yeah. Even the chip was on the Edison right. Oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
guy, he's in that aspect he's quite predictable, but like, I mean, he has a lot of pace and he can change the direction pretty quickly. Would be a really interesting game if he starts at the Bernabeu, but uh, I'm also scared in my opinion because I don't know, man. These guys, the defense doesn't fill me with confidence. Like Asensio is played well for the first leg, but I don't know if he'll show up again. And then there's Chouameni, who's really very error prone, and Kamavinga has been really bad. Uh, I really blame Ancelotti for this one because like he stunted his growth completely. Like uh, this guy was projected to be one of the best defensive midfielders in the game when he was at Lille and like when he first moved to Real Madrid, but like he completely is lost right now. I think he needs to move away from Madrid or like some maybe Xabi Alonso will revive him if he joins in the summer. But there are rumors that like Ancelotti will stay for another season. I am not tuning in if that happens. Sorry, Real Madrid, as good as you are, like I'm not tuning into any more matches. And then um, and then coming to City, Nico Gonzalez. I mean, I haven't watched the full game, but like people were saying he dropped in a masterclass, and everyone were praising a lot. He seems like saw a bit of the comp. Like he seems a bit Zubimendi-esque in the way
Yeah,
he
I was just
retains the
gonna say
ball
that.
and
Yeah.
pass the ball around. He has like a small frame, but we'll see how he adapts more. I really hope he City didn't click just before the Madrid game, and uh, yeah, just hoping like it won't happen on tomorrow or day after tomorrow. When's the game?
Day after
Day after
Wednesday, I
tomorrow.
think.
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Okay.
The best outcome would be them losing against Real Madrid and then putting a masterclass performance versus Liverpool,
I
which
mean, I don't mind that at all.
shatters Liverpool's
At all.
confidence, puts them under pressure as well, and then they go on a dipping run.
No, but
Wait,
more.
hello, hello, hello. Wait, wait, wait. What do you
No,
mean?
but more of it's more of, if Arsenal is able to keep up with Liverpool than Liverpool having a fall off. I mean, if they have a fall off, fine, all right. But given the present circumstances, I don't expect Arsenal to win every game. And if we do, man, build Arteta statue, man. I can't. Now, but if I'm to speak of the City Newcastle game, that game was a perfect example of the kind of attack that troubles Newcastle. It's not a surprise for me to see us struggle against Newcastle at all times, because there's things in our attack that actually helps Newcastle's defenders. Newcastle's centre backs, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, and who's the third guy, Sven Botman, whoever plays in the two. The problem is that they are not pacey, and we don't have anyone who's got pace to run in behind. Martinelli has that, but Martinelli is restricted more towards the wing. And with the wingers, it's the 1v1 ability, which our wingers lack, and City has that in abundance. You could see it was a show run by Omar Marmoush and Savinho. I've been raving about Savinho for a long, long time, when people were not rating him because of his inability to produce enough output for him to be talked about as one of the better wingers in the league. But the kind of performance he had 1v1, he had Lewis Hall on toast. And even with Marmoush, it's just the ability to run in behind and to be direct, and that is something that troubles Newcastle. And with I don't know what Pep is cooking up with his current squad, but given the signings he's made, I can see him transitioning from a possession based style to a transitional based style, because he's got players like Omar Marmoush, Phil Foden, and if Florian Wirtz joins them in the summer, it actually will be crazy. And Nico Gonzalez, man, uh, again, City lacks physicality in the midfield, and they actually lack a proper midfielder in the midfield. which Nico Gonzalez is. And coming from La Masia, that guy has got technical security, and you could see that the composure on the ball, and that is something that City's been lacking a lot this season. And I'm actually not surprised, City pulled that off. Incredible, incredible performance. Yeah.
Uh, Before we move on from the City thing, whatever happens against Real Madrid, City has to obligate Liverpool. Liverpool are there to be taken. See their match. It's back to pass Salah and inshallah in attack and BVD saving them. Uh, hmm. I think
And
it's
he
a
he
nice.
forgot he forgot the referee part.
Uh,
We
I
we'll
think.
talk about that game in detail, guys. Come on. Oh,
Uh,
oh, it's
Okay, okay, okay. Before we
before,
move,
yeah.
whoever is paying 130 million for Isaac, they are getting royally scammed. Basically, that. I'll stay quiet.
To be fair to Raja, right? I know the sound behind is like too much, but Raja actually messaged me 2 days back, if I'm not wrong, because we were like talking about the different players like Sesko, Isak, some other strikers as well. And he said, "Look at Isak. If the ball is not given to him, he is absolutely useless in the entire game." When I was a Newcastle game, right, I was watching with a little bit more important just for Isak, and his out of position play is not that great, to be fair. Like, is it that are we being too critical because we may not get Isak, or is it just that he's actually not that great out of position? Could you guys just
Watch
help
him
me?
versus watch him versus teams that play deep block and are pretty good in defending. This guy can be marked out easily, but I mean, like in a transitional team, even win the dog can score goals if he trained well to run in behind and gamble on balls. But like he has the technical security, I agree. But in the teams, like in the types of games we come across, I think he can be marked out in more games than compared to some other striker on the market. I don't know. Like I think like okay, 90 to 100 million. Yeah, okay, like I can be fine with
Some other
spending that much,
striker on
but
the market, some other
130 or 140 million for him, man, that's an insane overpay, and I don't think we should pursue that. I don't know. Yeah.
uh, we'll come to that if we have time after discussing all the games. Please, Liverpool's game. You know what? We'll just read this comment. It says that it's pass it to Salah and Inshallah. You know what? You guys take the stage. Let me know what you guys think about it.
who will start?
I
Start,
haven't
start.
watched the game, so I don't know.
Same,
Okay.
same.
Arush, do you want to go
No, no.
first?
Yeah,
Shakir,
you start, bro.
I
I haven't
woke
watched
up.
the match.
I woke up around 4 o'clock to not just watch Arsenal but to even watch Liverpool. Why? Because I want us to win the Premier League this season, right? Trust me, the first half I was like, why am I awake? But then the second half gave me hope. As always, Wolves were not up to it. I think Rahul, if you watch that game, you could agree upon it and give your thoughts about it as well. Wolves were like not clinical. Yes, Cunha did score an amazing left-footed shot, but they were very wasteful. Had Wolves taken their chances like many other teams take their chances against, not just Arsenal, against any other team, I'm sure the game would have even ended up with Wolves winning the game. I do not know about drawing, but I think Wolves could have gone and won that game, right? Because Liverpool didn't do jack shit. I'm not just saying this as just an Arsenal fan, but stats are out there. Liverpool didn't do jack shit in the second half. No shots on target. And okay, if they had shots on target, then saying that Liverpool Wolves would have gone and won that game would have been wrong. But Liverpool didn't create anything to win that game in the second half. Had Wolves equalized, so it was frustrating to watch. But like I said in starting, many teams have won this weekend, but the misery remains. Nobody is stable and nobody is guaranteed to win on from here on. What do you guys think about that?
It's just fatigue catching up with Liverpool. You could see Gravenberch over the last few games. He's either been marked out or he's actually looked lethargic. So the thing is, even if they've got everyone fit, which they have, and up to this point in the season, it's actually a miracle how that's happened. But it's just that, it's a game of chances, and there's some games where it's not meant to happen and it doesn't happen. What are the odds of Monetsi missing against Allison? Sorry, Monetsi missing against any goalkeeper? That 1v1 chance. It won't happen. What are the odds of Jarel Konsa coming and putting in that last ditch tackle? It won't happen. But these things are happening, and I mean, I just can say that they deserve to win the league. What else am I supposed to say? Because doesn't matter how poor they are, they've got a Mohamed Salah. Doesn't matter how poor they are, they've got a Virgil van Dijk, which other teams don't have the luxury of having. Even if we had a half fit Saka, and even if he could score even if he could score 3-4 goals extra, we would have a chance. But again, the thing is, they go past these moments in every game. So it's not happening for the first time that teams create against them and miss, but it's just that if teams miss against them, they somehow go on and capitalize on that miss. So that is what's been happening. But yeah, fatigue is kicking in, man. I'm not sure of Liverpool winning matches, but neither am I sure of us winning games, which we should win. So yeah, it's that's that. Liverpool wasn't good.
Parth talked about luxuries, and one of the luxuries that they had was the 12th man in the game as well. So the uh, the point of Liverpool, I mean, yeah, thank you guys. The point of Liverpool getting that penalty, I mean, how do you justify that penalty that Diego Jota fell to the ground, and where was the contact? And then the times when Ibrahim Konate had so many fouls up the lines of so many Wolves players, he had, I mean, Slot had the power to just get him off in the second half directly on the 46th minute. No thinking about any of the substitutions apart from that. So many other challenges that were not talked about, and just that, bro. That's just another
Sorry to
luxury.
interrupt you, but this is something similar happened in the Bournemouth game. All right,
Yeah,
so McAllister was on a yellow card. He went in with his studs up to hit some Bournemouth player in his chest. He wasn't carded then, and Slot substituted him the next moment. This is actually very similar to what Konate did. So if Konate been sent off for abiding by the rules that referees are meant to, because Michael Oliver gave Martinelli a red card for the same sequence of play against Wolves. Oh, it was against Wolves. Interesting. So
this is what we were talking about in the last stream as well, no?
yep. So the first foul, people are saying that Konate was yellow carded for kicking the ball away. So just to get the facts right, Konate uh, had his hand and he was pushing the Wolves player. He got a yellow card for that. And the next instant, he kicked the ball away. No card was shown. Fair enough. I've got no issues. And now the Liverpool fans are saying that, referees have stopped giving yellow cards for kicking the ball away now. And I'm like, fair enough, man. So by that logic, we should be awarded at least 6 to 8 points, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, nah. Uh, okay, it's fine.
Rajan, Rahul, did you guys watch?
No, I was only able to catch the highlights, but
Uh-huh.
getting the consensus of Wolves fan online, they were pretty angry at the ref, as discussed by the panel. Bulls started growing into that game slowly, especially after the second half. First half, it was all Liverpool. Bulls didn't threaten that much. Queen, man, we scored a goal, which was surprising, especially after the 2-0 lead. I was thinking about watching the game, but when I saw the scorecard was a 2-0, I was like, no need to watch. It will be one of those games where Wolves get smacked around even in the second half. But we actually put up a performance, so I had to watch the highlights. Last team we talked about refs. What can I say? Liverpool fans talking about refs. As a Wolves fan, it's pretty usual that we generally don't get referees' decision in our favor. There was a season where it was like 5 to 6 games in a 10 game stretch that we kept dropping points because of weird referee decisions. and it's not to target any certain clubs in that period. But referees generally favor the big boys, like I even said on the last stream. That dive by Luis Diaz, that was symbolic. I don't know. Sorry, Jota was it, right? That was symbolic. I don't know what he hoped to gain from that dive. The player had just taken his arm off and he still dived. But it is what it is. We lost the game. For Wolves, we have to survive in that in the league. For Liverpool, it's 3 points to pile the pressure more on Arsenal and the other chasing pack. The thing that I noticed about Liverpool is yes, the fatigue is the issue, but Slot under pressure, I don't trust that yet. Right? If Slot can get a bit of anxiety induced into him and his play style as well as tactics, I don't believe that he can actually conjure up results against the big team, especially. So that is why the next three games against Aston Villa, Newcastle, and City are very important for me. If Liverpool can even manage 7 points out of that nine, they are winning the league. If it's 4 or 5, Arsenal are in with a shout. That is just my prediction.
Arey bhai, if Liverpool drop points also, we should be there to get it right. Can Arsenal win is the question at this point.
No, I
But
trust
But
yeah,
Arteta.
I'd just
I
say
think
one
Arsenal
thing
can win.
about Slot and Liverpool. Credit to them where they're placed. They've done an incredible job. Salah has, I won't say carried them, but Salah's been influential for the kind of season Liverpool's having. But in all honesty, Slots actually had it easy this time round. I agree with all the performances that they've had. They've played teams off the park. Agreed. But he's actually been fortunate with his best players not getting injured. So yeah, but okay, man. If you have to capitalize on others' failures, so be it, man. I can't say anything about that. So fair play. But I don't. I'll say it again. I don't rate Slot and Liverpool over Arteta and Arsenal. I don't.
here's a comment from Dr. Vivek. Myanmar, Graven, and Salah press their defense, and you see something getting past easily. It may be fatigue or just bad match, or as per Liverpool perspective, they'll be delighted with the ref. We'll be the ref. Agreed, agreed.
I would have loved
Uh,
a Barcelona versus Liverpool matchup with the playstyle both teams play, but that's not possible because
Ainsley is a Barca fan, and this is what he says. Talking about refs, I remember another team.
it's Barcelona, man. Real Madrid got shafted 3 games in a row in La Liga
No,
by refs.
I mean, the dude Bellingham red card was for what?
Deserved.
I mean, that's for dissent. For that, you get red card, not even a second yellow or a yellow. Straight red
I
card.
mean, you
According to
never
the
know what he
referee,
said to the referee, bro.
I mean,
And
I mean, you see
but
what he did against Atletico Madrid the other day, and which was like the initial minutes of the game, and how he cursed the uh, what's that called, man? Who's he called? What's that referee called? Linesman. What he cursed to the linesman for a cheap throw in. You can't just say what he would. And it was not only the fact that he said that. There was another patch of play where a chance went by and he said something to the referee, which is also being condemned as foul language again. So I think that's fair, to be honest, with what we saw last week. It's not that you're rewarding him a red card for what he did last week, but it's about his behavior on the pitch, which is being reflected into certain games in the La Liga. So it's just that, bro.
okay, my bad, my bad. And next time, whenever you say MF, I know it'll be midfield. My bad. Uh, bro, I remember when Leva got a red card and 3 match ban for touching his nose.
Touching
Oh,
nose of
what?
referee.
I think he meant referee. I don't know.
Ainsley and
No,
his typing.
La Liga is funny, man. It's 1 week Barca fans are saying Real's bought the refs, and the next week Real fans are saying Barca's bought the refs.
And the
I mean,
third week is
what's
Anthony
going
scoring
on there,
goals.
man?
Everyone is
Anton,
so.
oh,
Who's actually
Nana,
playing
Man
well.
United is on fraud watch.
I mean, people are
Oh,
comparing about how Premier League is Premier League tax, La Liga tax. Bro, it's United tax at this point that is being evident.
it is.
And
But
Anthony being in the
Uh,
form of his life.
it's
What's
actually interesting how the least wanted player at United leaves for some different club and he starts to perform. It's actually a
exactly?
phenomena that happens way too often, man. Crazy.
Mhm. But speaking of referees, guess what happened? The most PGMO thing against Arsenal. Arsenal have fined 65,000 because they failed to respond
When is
on how
this?
much. This just happened. Doc even retweeted this. This just happened right now. That's why I put it
Just
up.
now.
Yeah, yeah, just now, just now. Arsenal have been fined 65,000 pounds because they
Oh,
failed to ensure the
come
players did not behave in
on.
the improv. What do you, fine? If money is what they want, just take the money.
Bro, they themselves agreed that their decision was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What are
Exactly.
you giving us the fine for?
it is part of the deal uh, for rescinding the red card.
I wonder
Yeah.
what the treatment will be when Van Dijk squares up to the referee and he's like, "What the fuck you're doing, man?"
Bro,
And
talking
Slot,
about
involving himself in an aggressive handshake with Michael Oliver. I really want to see what happens then. But
and
yeah,
Slot didn't get a
fair enough,
ban,
man.
bro.
We should be conducting ourselves better, man. Arteta shouldn't even utter a word. I agree. I agree.
Pratham says Arsenal finds 60 for crowding Michael Oliver again. Yeah, well.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, this one. Flick got a red card for raising his hands. Bro, Arne Slot got
Salute.
his hand. Bro.
He was doing some salute.
Mhm. Here's the thing, right? It was funny to see Arne Slot
Parth,
on
Parth,
the bench.
Hansi Flick was doing the German salute.
You see,
I mean, him being German
Yep,
against his things.
makes sense, man.
Parth, I
But
hope you don't get influenced in
nah,
Germany.
yeah, yeah.
nah, he has to appeal. Nana, he has got some days to appeal,
Yeah,
so his appeal is due in 2 or 3 days. So
yeah, 19th,
if FA or PGMOL don't agree to that, he'll get banned for the subsequent games against Villa and City.
which is very sure he's
Oh,
gonna get.
Good
nah,
news, good
Yeah.
news.
I
But
don't.
then again, the thing is, I hate to get this petty when it comes to refereeing decisions and these nonsensical red cards that managers get. But, when the same shit happens to us, everyone is like, nah, you deserve it. You behave that way. Your players are this. Your players do that. Your players deserve the red card. So, yeah, I can't, man. I have to be petty, man. Come on.
Hmm. Okay,
Uh,
about that Liverpool game, like one last word. I haven't watched, like when I saw this, they took the lead. I was like, yeah, these they will win. There's no point watching this game. But then I got some hope when I saw the Cunha goal on Twitter. I mean, I was like, wow, what a goal! And hopefully they'll do something. And I was following it on SofaScore, like how they're creating and all. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's at Anfield, so it was an inevitable result, in my opinion. And coming to the next few games, I mean, if they get 7 points, as Rahul said, in the next 3 games, I mean, that's wraps for the league. But I have a feeling they'll lose a game and draw one of them. So we'll see.
we have a Raja certified answer regarding Liverpool, bro. This is what you need to keep doing. I do not know if you'll contribute in the entire stream, but all you have to say is regarding the draws that Liverpool could get or the losses that Liverpool could get. Because so far, whenever you predicted a draw, that team has drawn. I do not know how that happened, but yeah, it's certified Raja's banger we have. Uh, Before we go to the next part, at the last part of the stream, we'll just take a few comments. And Arteta was banned last season against Aston Villa for celebrating late winner against. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he over celebrated. He
celebration.
over celebrated a last minute winning goal from Declan Rice. It makes sense, man. We are not allowed to do that.
True, true. We
I
didn't win
concur,
anything.
man.
We didn't win anything. We're not allowed to celebrate. True, true. The referees are too powerful and the VAR is so flawed, man. In comparison, cricket's third umpire is much better in our head. It's simple. Use that semi-automated shit that UCL used. Use the same software, same technology that they used in the World Cup. Like how? If it's about money, are you saying that Premier League doesn't have the money? Are you stupid? Like,
So in cricket,
but yeah.
there's much more clarity, right? The third umpire and the match referee, you can actually hear when they're making a
Yeah,
decision and can
yeah.
understand why they're choosing
A
their
decision is made.
out or not out option.
Mm, mm.
While in football, it's much more under the wraps, in the shadows, and then you get incidents like the Liverpool one where good process lads.
And they've
I
also
think
started giving referees mic'd up duties as well, right, in other leagues. So I hope they do it. At least if not mic'd up duties, at least give them post-match interviews, man, because they need to be
Yeah, they
accountable for the
actually
decisions.
started this thing in the Carabao Cup semi-final. You know the goal that got disallowed for Newcastle, the first goal they scored. It was announced by the referee on the mic. So
I
that's
mean,
happened, but it
they
happened.
did this in the
It should be
MLS, I
happening
mean
in the
US
leagues.
tour as
It
well.
should be happening in the leagues. It's incredible, yeah.
I think these referees don't want to give up control of the game they have. I mean, like these guys don't get paid that much, like compared to what the footballers get paid. I think it's also hard to convince new people to get into refereeing. I mean, it's it's game of numbers, right? Like there are very few people, and they don't want to give up control of the game. So that's why we don't see the all the automated stuff happening in football basically. As long as like they should decide on something and just raise the pay for them so that there is incentive for them to cede the control or something else. I mean, they need to figure something out. The pool of referees is very low compared to like other jobs, so I don't know, like I think that's the reason why we still have these issues in football right now.
Ainsley, a Barca fan, says there's no better. I mean, the semi-automated system is no better. Ask La Liga fans. Is it true?
Yeah, I mean, I think both Real Madrid fans and Barcelona fans can agree that the refs in La Liga are not that good as well. Now, there should be a case in which La Liga fans would argue that EPL refs are actually much better than what we get in La Liga.
Basically a clone off.
Yeah, you could say that. In Serie A, this season has actually been really good in terms of refereeing. A few match weeks, we had decisions that made no sense, but in 80% of the games, I think the ref has been actually good. I don't know about Bundesliga or the French league.
Got to go, brothers. Duty calls. Take care, Dr. Vivek. You have much more important things to do. Thank you for being on stream till now. I hope you are doing well and good luck. Before we go to the last segment, we'll just take a 2-2. We have it much worse, to be fair, because of the timing of the matches. Okay. Speaking of something worse, this match, Spurs versus United. Uh, I do not know what to say.
Ah,
The only interesting part of this game was these two statements. When Amarum came out and said, I'm a huge fan of his work. I understand the connection, but we are not winning games. But with all due respect, I'm at a bigger club with bigger pressures. And then Ange coming out and saying, United with many pressures. If I check my office, I don't have any sympathy cards with any coach.
Son
one
versus daddy, bro.
one manager keeps on saying that United is very big. That is why I'm not able to perform. The other manager continues to say that I've got injuries. I can't perform. I mean, yeah, fair enough, man. What else can I say, man? At least I am being very honest with the job. I'm just doing at Spurs. It's actually much better than it actually is being shown. They might be 13th, 12th, whatever it is, but I still feel that Ange is a good coach, man. It's just that all those horrible injuries that's happened to Spurs, even though I'm an Arsenal fan and I don't like Spurs, but I mean, come on, they're Spurs at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, they're a good team with good players. They've got Lucas Bergwall, they've got Bentancur, they've got Pape Matassa. They're good players, man. I have no idea how they can't win matches as consistently, but yeah, they're much better than United. They're much, much, much better than United.
That's true. I have to agree. Ruben Amorim has moved Manchester United from 13th to 15th after 15 games. Instant impact from the Portuguese legend.
I hate to say this, but Ruben Amorim has made more big statements than he's got wins in the Premier League. He's got like 3, 4 wins, and he's already made 6, 7 statements. So yeah, I mean,
No,
it's
I think
actually
I did tell you guys. I think Amorim will flop at United. I'm pretty sure on that, and I was right on that as well.
I do not know how Nathan would have responded, but yeah, to be fair, you're the only person
no,
who
but
said.
what's on United side? The thing is, what's on United and Amorim side is that they've actually given up on the league. So even if they continue to lose matches, the fan base is, yeah, we know we are going to lose. And Amorim is like, yeah, see, we are losing. And they're like,
I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
it's fine.
this is not NBA to do this, because if they do that, end up at bottom three, they'll get relegated. I mean, this is such BS, man. Like, these
And
guys should be like, yeah.
then this is United has actually lucked out with the bottom three this season. Who are it? Southampton, Leicester, and who's the third team?
Ipswich.
Ipswich. So they've got like Southampton. I don't even think they've reached double digits till now, but Ipswich and Leicester are on like 19, 18 points, and United is on 27. So even if they try their hardest, they can't get relegated. So even if they lose every match, that's a positive.
Mhm. That's see
I
four
think both.
games. United need to lose four, and Ipswich need to win four. Is that possible? I do not know. But yes, sorry to cut you off, Rahul. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think both clubs are prioritizing the Europa League to get in the Champions League next season. But I don't know if any of those teams can win it. If both Lazio and Roma get into the round of 16, there's Sociedad as well. So it won't be an easy run for either of them, especially if the injuries keep piling up on for Spurs. But they have got players coming back from major injuries, right? I think I'm hearing about Romero coming back into the team.
Van de Ven as well.
That's a plus point. Dorgu played well from what I heard from United fans.
Yep.
It was Dorgu and Zirkzee who were the only ones who had to do something in that game, man. Otherwise, again, I've been talking about Alejandro Garnacho. United fans hate me when I say that they should have actually cashed in on him for whatever 60, 70 million they were getting, because Alejandro Garnacho, for as good as United fans think he is,
Speedy
he's
Garnacho.
not worth 70 million pounds. Okay. So if a club's offering you that, just take it and run. But they haven't done that. And it's just the same thing with Garnacho, right? He has to be given like 10 chances to score one goal. And yeah, honestly, and it doesn't work like that. When you've got a team that doesn't score goals, and when you've got a forward that cannot score goals, it means that you're not scoring goals, which they don't seem to improve on. It's weird. And with Ahmad
I mean,
gone, Ahmad
Rasmus,
gone, they're actually in tatters, man. That it's sad.
talk about Hoyland.
By we will come one second. We'll just take a few comments. By the way, part that thread on Rice playing different roles was top class. Somehow reminded me of the time when Arteta said that you play with multiple. True, true. Exactly. So I've linked that thread in the description. Go check that out, guys. Uh, well, Vardhan Sharma, my best friend from school, City fan, by the way. He was at the stadium watching City obliterate Newcastle. This is what he says. I doubt Pool is under pressure, to be honest. First season for start, and he's outperforming expectations. True, true. But Once. What?
No, I just say one thing. I just say one thing on this. When Arteta was for the first time in a title race, and when he was 8 points ahead, people called him a bottler. So was he not outperforming the expectations back then?
That's what I wanted to say. Like expectations are set initially as a thing like how to like, start from here. But as you progress, I think expectations will change from time to time, right? It's like
The saddest part about Arteta is, finishing second is being taken as a stick to beat Arteta with, which I can't get my head around. He's being actually criticized for coming second twice. I mean, what else can I say, man? That's good.
Ainsley says, I agree with Parth. Garnacho literally have. I can't believe they sold Ilanga but kept Rashford for so long and now Garnacho. Like, how is Ilanga sold when he was the one who was doing the backtracking, the attacking part of it was bro was phenomenal
And he
and yet
scored some crucial goals for them as well.
exactly when United were like in a shit he was the one who was like doing so much and then they sold him to Forest and now look at him doing so well at Forest. I'm really glad. He's one player I couldn't hate at United by the way.
I've mentioned it in a previous stream that the problem with Amorim is that he's got ego, which is very good. Every manager should have it.
Hmm.
He is stubborn, which I agree every manager should be to some extent. But he's doing that at the cost of harming United's position in the table. So what he's doing right now is he's taking those big calls. Fair play to him. He has the right to do that. But what he's doing is he's not trying to adapt. And what is happening as a result is that he's playing the same players over and over again, knowing that they can't play and knowing that this is a Premier League table, so this isn't his pre-season where he can try anything and get away with it. And United fans don't seem to realize this. So it's just that they've written the season off and they're like, Amorim can do whatever he wants to, but that is not how football works. And I just don't understand why he's still persisting with his 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, whatever it is, because it clearly is not working and he is not going to grind results playing that way. It's weird, man.
I agree with Parth. The thing that irritates me with young managers generally is that, like we talked about Maresca and him being a very rigid coach, right? The same with Amorin being tunnel visioned in in his squad building and recruitment and then play style as well. What happens when in a season or two, even after you start performing, other team adapt to it, and some coaches like Pep Guardiola, Arteta, or Slot, they find a flaw in your tactical play style, a major flaw, and then you have to readapt. Then will Amarin start demanding other players in the market that okay, this player is now being nullified completely. I need another set of players. So the need to adapt to their players, especially for young managers, showcases that they have got a higher ceiling to keep performing even when the trends change, because football can move very fast, and unless you adapt as a manager, you'll be like Allegri and people will call you another dinosaur.
And
Man,
that is
Allegri
why
is twice the manager Amorim is. I mean,
Oh, that's true,
what,
that's
what,
true. Allegri's golden period was top notch. He was probably the one of the top three
even
and
now
managers
also
Allegri
around.
is better.
this is one thing that I love about Arteta. When he realized that we were in the gutters when he took over, he switched back to a back five. He grinded out results, not playing beautiful football. He started to integrate players. He started to buy players that he thought would fit his system. He tried to play a certain way, and when it reached a point where he was getting found out, he changed the way he played, and now he's even changing till now. So that is something that a manager should have, which Amorim seems, I won't say he seems to lack, but he's reluctant to do. He's a good manager, but I think he should, say that, okay, I might have to grind out some results till the end of the season and then start afresh from the next season when I'm given somebody like a Giovanni Kenda or anything, the players he wants from Sporting. But again, the thing with this, the thing would be they try to do the same with Ten Hag, United before Ten Hag was United. United after Ten Hag was Ajax, and they gave him 2 years, right? So if they are willing to back Amorim for a long run, it's fine. But if they're going to do the same thing where they ship out the purchases Ten Hag made and then to replace it with majority of the good players at Sporting, and if the results don't come, he'll get sacked, and the other manager that comes in, it's highly improbable that he'll play a three at the back. So it's just, if you're backing Amorim, back him till the last breath. And if you're not willing to do that, just sack him. I mean, don't sack him, but yeah, I mean, tell him to do things differently.
I think he didn't play any different formations other than this back 3-4-3 or something, whatever he plays. Even at Sporting, like he played this formation all the time. I don't think he'll change, and it's I'm like 60% sure he'll get sacked by the end of the season, and they'll restart again from the beginning. We'll see, because this guy doesn't have higher his ceiling, man. Like I don't know like what people see in him, but it's all the same formation and same players. Like he needs specialist players in these wing positions, and they have to be world class to actually execute and even get into top four in this current stage in Premier League. Like so many good teams, like the top 10 teams are like very competitive in this Premier League. So we'll see. Like I don't think he has the minerals compared to like what other managers are. Whenever I listen to him talking, it feels like he got the Mourinho comparisons into his head, thinking like he's actually Mourinho. I mean, like, come on, man. Like,
Uh,
Seems
There's
like
a
you're half the
thing.
man.
his
Nah,
interview
he plays it
recently.
very smart in the press conferences. He exactly says what the fans want to hear, and that is why they are like, okay, Amorim knows what the problem is. When in fact he's just saying that you are shit, and they're like, yeah, we are shit. Thank you for telling that to us. So that is something that is difficult for a manager who's just come in England to do, but he's managed to do that. But again, it's all about how much faith they are ready to put in Amorim. So it's going to be a long ride, man. If they're willing to be a mid-table club for 3 years, I think that's the minimum. They will be placed in mid-table in the Premier League. They might win an odd FA Cup or Europa League, something like that. But for me, a team's success is based on where they finish in the league rather than the cup competitions. It's more to the cup competitions have got a lot to do with how you turn up on a given day, whereas the league shows how much you have actually progressed. So that's the yardstick I use to measure Amorim's success.
Two comments. Whilst I agree we're in position to win, I couldn't get over the line. Also, Liverpool are favourites to win the UCL along with Madrid. Ah,
Why is
okay.
Real Madrid in that conversation? It's Liverpool and Barcelona.
The Barca, yeah.
Yeah, he's a City fan, so
I'd just say one thing. When Arsenal was in a position to win the league, did you see City being crap? Did you see any other team being good in the league back then? It was just Arsenal and City, and it was a City that actually went on a incredible run, and they had their best players fit. This season, if Liverpool has got a free run at the league, it's because City has not got the players they need. City seems to look out of their depth, and Arsenal does not have a squad to compete. So it's more to do with Slot taking advantage of the situation he is in, and with Arteta, he was being chased by a team that was a well-drilled machine back then. So I'm just saying that. It's different, man. You can't compare Liverpool's, Slot's first season with Arteta coming second. Second, that is ridiculous. I won't
Mm.
agree to that.
Coming on to like UCL favorites, I don't think Liverpool are favorites for that. For me, like Inter Milan are the favorites.
Uh,
Okay, like currently the form is like up and down, but I think the way they play like really suits the games, like the cup games, like two-legged games, like it really suits, especially when all the teams are like position based or like they'll hit them on the counter basically.
if they get tangled up in the title race with Napoli and don't rest their players, I don't think so. Inter Milan can compete in the Champions League. If they're able to rest their players and focus purely on UCL, they'll be a proper threat to
Is
any
Hakan
team.
injured?
He has recovered, but he didn't play well versus Juventus.
I think he's getting back into fitness. We'll see, like as the knockout stages start. Like we'll see how they are, they are.
If they get AC Milan, that'd be an interesting matchup in the round of 16 because Milan has had their number in the previous three games.
Ainsley says, why is Barcelona in that conversation? Man, they're literally without any backup, one injury to any of our main players, and we're doomed.
On Barcelona, I have to say one thing. Thank God we didn't sign Ronald Araujo for 50 million, man. That would be proper proper money down the drain. He just got injured as well.
Who?
Yeah,
Literally, man.
Araujo.
Juventus were signing about to sign him in the January
Ronald
window.
Hmm.
Araujo,
Hmm,
yeah.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
He played Barcelona and they gave him a new contract.
Hmm.
He won the Super Copa and they gave him a new contract. Perfect.
Hmm. Agreed about Inter top team. They perform well against big teams. Bastoni will win them games. Trust.
No, the thing is, I would rather have someone like an Inter as favorites for the Champions League or someone like a Real as favorites for the Champions League. I just don't feel that the way Barca and Liverpool play is sustainable enough to win the Champions League. I don't know, man.
What
I
about
want
Emery
a team
winning the
that is
Champions
organized
League?
and not a team that is purely, yeah, not no. I don't like teams that are purely based on chaos and high intensity football. I'd rather have a team like Inter who is organized and who know their strengths, which which the strengths that Inter has can are good enough to play any good enough to outplay any team in the Champions League, and that is a team that will be a nightmare to face for either Liverpool or Barcelona.
Well, the other trivial things that have happened over the weekend was the women's team beating North London women's team 5-0. It was a brilliant game. I got to watch the second half, couldn't watch the first half because I was too sleepy. But yeah, it was a good game. The highlights were good as well. Uh, this is honestly very funny. This Anthony doing well. Anthony doing well. See, I think uh, see it's quite common, right? Not all players are like cut out for the Premier League. Some people go somewhere else and do well. I think Anthony at La Liga would do really well. Good luck to him. Well, I just hope the best. Mm, well, we do have few comments. Let's just take that before we wrap up the stream. Okay. Um, agreed. No, not this one. Also, don't forget about Atletico.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Again, it's the same thing with Inter and Atletico. I'd much rather fancy them to win the Champions League. The teams that play that way, not the teams, but the teams who have got a play style similar to theirs.
Hmm.
That-
Anyways, that's it, guys. I think we've done really well. We've covered most of the topics, and next week, I mean, on Tuesday we have Bayern playing. We have some big matches, and on Wednesday we have the UCL derby, you could say, because in the last 3-4 seasons we've been having this game, the Madrid versus City game as well. Let's just hope teams like Arsenal get a good team, not someone who's like too hard also to face. I don't want to face Juventus. I don't want to face Juventus.
Man, the only team I don't want to face is Milan, man. I really hope Feyenoord get through. I do not want to face Sergio Conceição again, and I really don't want to, man.
Mhm.
Arteta insulted my family.
Hmm.
Bro, that comment was so diabolical. Like, what do you mean insulted your family? I mean, apparently he has this history of like complaining the wrong shit in the press. I mean, after the Porto game, it came out that even the previous season or something, he complained something like that. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Any final words before we wrap it up? Nope, nothing. Anyone
Uh,
from any
uh,
concurrent viewers? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Liverpool is winning the league by 12 points. So is winning the league by a difference of 12 points. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm playing the reverse jinxer here, man. Get in there.
What? See, it doesn't work that way, Parth. You say it and you leave it. You do not mention why you're saying it. You leave it.
Raja, please come to our rescue, man. Please, please do something.
Fi-
Uh,
5 points in next 3 games, and we win the next three.
oh my God, we win.
Oh,
The title decider at Anfield, man. Get in.
I don't know. Oh my God. Whatever, whatever. Anyways, thank you so much for all the people who have tuned in, who have supported throughout the entire stream, as concurrent views, as new subscribers, and are liking the stream as well. See you guys soon. Till then, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the world. Bye bye. Peace.